Hey there guys, this is exercise 8F using the financial solver to find interest rates, time taken, and regular payments. Not gonna lie, this one is a pretty big one. There's 4 examples and it is the last exercise before you tackle your SAC, so there's gonna be a lot to digest for this one. Our learning intentions for this particular exercise is to be able to use this handy financial solver that we've already had some practice with to find the interest rate or time taken for a compounding interest investment with additional payments. To be able to use the finance solver to find the regular payments for a reducing balance loan, and to also use this finance solver to find interest rate, time taken, or regular payments for an annuity. So there's different scenarios that you're going to be presented with, and your job is to know what it is that you're looking for, what it is you need to fill in within your financial solver, and whether you're using a positive or a negative number, and also how to interpret your answer if it is a positive or negative. I will digest through every single example step by step, and probably spoiler alert, this might be a two videos for this exercise. There's a lot to get through. So first of all, with example 21 on your sheet, we have to recall that when you're putting this information into the finance solver, your PV, so your present value, is going to be negative if you are making an investment by giving the bank some money. So if you decide to put money into a bank, you got to remember that this is from the perspective of the person. So if you're putting an investment in, that money is no longer with you, it's sitting with the bank. So it's going to be negative. Your payments are also going to be negative, so the payments per time frame. This will be negative if you make regular payments to the bank because that money is coming out of your pocket. The future value will be positive, and this is when the investment matures. So the bank gives you the money after the interest has been put on. So knowing which one is positive and negative is key to being able to use your financial solver correctly. If you make a slip up of some sort, you might have some type of weird answer that's presented, which means a weird interpretation of what the potential answer is. So just be very careful. For now, we're going to look into Mingjia. She puts in, I think I'm saying that correctly, $20,000 into a compound interest investment. And the interest compounds monthly. She adds $50 per month on top of that, and she wants her investment to reach a particular value, in this case $40,000, in a time frame of 10 years. We're going to find the annual interest rate required for this to be able to happen. And we're going to round this answer to 2 decimal places. So the first thing we know that we can put in is what the present value is. And right now we know that because she was putting this money into an investment, it's going to be a negative $20,000. So this is what she's investing into the bank. Now the other thing that we also know is that on top of this, she is making payments of $50 per month. So she will be out of pocket by $50 per month. So we have to put a negative in front of that 50. Now she requires the future value of her investment to be $40,000. So at the end of all of these calculations, she wants to have a positive net value of $40,000 in her bank in a duration of 10 years. So the amount of payments that is going to happen, because this is monthly, is 120. So there's 12 months within a year, which implies that there are 120 payments within 10 years. Now the payments per year and the compounds per year, this is 12. Both of them are 12. These are generally the same values. And what we want to know is, what is the interest amount? So when you put this into your financial solver, it will spit out an interest amount of 4.807676. And so when you answer this question, you would say, therefore, Mingjia requires a 4.81. So we rounded this up to 1, so 2 decimal places, 4.81% per annum Greentree requires a 4.81% per annum investment. For example 22, we are looking into Winston. Winston is going to be putting $20,000 into an investment, and will be paying 5.1% interest per annum, compounding monthly. So first question, which is going to be here for A, if Winston wants his investment to be worth at least $40,000 in 5 years, what is the minimum he will need to add each month? So now we're in a position where we want to know, what do we need to put in as additional payments to ensure that Winston gets $40,000? So he's putting payments in, and he's also requiring the bank to put in a certain percentage, also compounding monthly. So he's relying on two income sources, and obviously the more he puts in, the more interest that he'll get. So what we do know is this is an investment. So again, the present value is going to be a negative, and this is $20,000. The interest is going to be at 5.1%, so 5.1. And because this is compounding monthly, both of these payments, the payments and compounds per year is 12. Now the future value, he wants this to be at $40,000 net value. And this is positive. And this is going to be happening over 5 years, so there are 60 of these transactions happening. So 12 times 5 gives me 60. What we'll be looking for is what this payment amount is. Now, we know that this is going to be a negative amount because Winston is going to be out of pocket by a certain amount to have this $20,000 reach $40,000. If you do not get a negative for whatever reason, one of these values has been inputted incorrectly. So just be careful of this. 208.341646 is the amount. So what is the minimum he will need to add each month? Therefore, Winston will need to put in at least $208.35. Now, even though this says 3341, we're so instinctively used to rounding this down to 34 cents. But if this was the case, if he were to put in an extra $208.34, he won't make it to that 40,000. And you can even check using this financial solver. He'll end up getting $39,999.98. So just to play it safe, round that cents up if there's an additional payment that he needs to put in. Doesn't hurt. And in fact, it might further push into like $40,002, but that is at least $40,000. So this is the minimum he would need to put in. For question B, if Winston were to invest $1,000 each month immediately after interest is calculated, what is the minimum number of months required for his investment to at least triple in value? So there's a few values here that we need to work out. So the first one is, again, we have a present value of negative 20,000. This is his investment. We still have an interest of 5.1%. It's still compounding monthly. So both of these values are 12. Now he wants his future value to triple. So this means that he wants to have $60,000 within his account, because triple 20,000 is 60,000. Now the amount that's going into the account has been given to us. This is $1,000, and it is a negative because, again, it's money that's coming out of his pocket, which means the number of months will be provided to you. When this comes out, you will get a value of 34.3211. Therefore, it will take, now think about the context. Again, we're also used to rounding this down to 34 because it's 34.2, but that just won't make it. If this happens in 34 months, we're not all the way there yet. This is like 34 and 1/3 of a month. So like a week and a half. So play it safe, round up, it will take 35 months. So I'll leave it here for example 22, example 23, and example 24 we'll leave for the next video. This is part 1. Stay tuned for part 2.